For 2 long years, the creature walked across small towns and lonely highways on a world that was not her own. She moved mostly at night when the sky hid her glowing skin. Her shape was tall and thin, yet carried a strange grace that humans did not understand. Her eyes shone with a soft blue light, almost like a distant star trapped behind glass. Every step she took looked heavy because she carried something close to her chest, wrapped in an old blanket that looked worn from travel. The people who saw her from far away always reacted the same. First fear, then confusion, then the quick decision to run back inside and lock their doors. The world had seen many strange things in recent years, but nothing like her. Children whispered stories about the Night Walker. Grown men pretended they were not afraid, but they avoided any road where her shadow might appear. Some believed she was a ghost. Some believed she was a warning of some coming disaster. None knew the truth. All she wanted was help. Every night she reached another home. She would walk up slowly to the door. She would lift one trembling hand and knock with the softest sound. Not a threat, a plea, a call for mercy. But when the door opened even a little, the reaction was always the same. Scream, panic, door slammed. With force, then the dead silence of rejection. She never pushed, she never shouted. She only stepped back and whispered a few words in a voice shaped by a language not made for human throats. Then she continued onward with tired steps. Inside the blanket pressed against her chest was a small shape. A child. Her child. The tiny alien boy breathed with great difficulty. His skin flickered with light that dimmed more each day. She knew. He was fading. She had hoped to find help quickly when she first came to Earth, but she learned that hope often travels slower than fear. She refused to give up because her son was the last piece of her heart still alive. 2 years of searching had changed her. In the beginning she had walked with steady confidence. Now her shoulders bent under the weight of worry. Her hands shook from exhaustion. Yet she kept moving because stopping meant losing everything. When she looked at her son, she felt a fire rise inside her. A fire stronger than fear, stronger than pain. On this night, she approached another lonely house at the far end of a small town. A cold wind blew through the trees and carried dust along the ground. Her feet hurt from walking, yet she forced herself up the small wooden steps. Her eyes studied the door. It looked old yet cared for, as if someone gentle lived inside. She hoped this gentle soul might listen. She lifted her hand. Knocked once. The sound echoed softly in the quiet night. For a moment she heard nothing. Just her own breathing and the weak breath of the child. Then there was movement from inside. A chair shifted. A light switched on. She stepped back slightly, ready for the same fear she had seen so many times. She pulled the blanket tighter around her child as footsteps came closer to the door. The door opened an inch. A single eye looked out, human, tired, curious, the man. Behind the door did not scream. He did not run. He only stared at her as if trying to understand what stood before him. She waited without moving. She did not speak. She wanted him to see she meant no harm. The man opened the door wider. Enough for her to see his full face. He looked older than he truly was, because life had been heavy on him. His clothes were simple. His expression calm. He studied her glowing skin and long limbs, yet something in her eyes made him hesitate. He saw fear but also hope. He saw a mother, not a monster. She watched him carefully. Was this the moment she had waited for across 2 years of walking and begging and fighting despair? Her heart raced. Her arms trembled. The child stirred in the blanket, and a faint flicker shone through the cloth. The man noticed the movement. His eyes widened with surprise, but not fear. Instead, he leaned forward a little. She sensed something she had not felt from any human before. Concern. Real concern. He whispered a small question, a simple question. "Do you need help?" The alien mother felt her breath catch. For the first time in 2 years, a human had not closed the door. He had opened it. And that simple act changed everything. Asterisk. Elias had never been the kind of man who invited trouble into his life. He lived on the edge of town in a small wooden house that looked older than most people who passed by. His days were spent fixing tools for neighbors and repairing broken machines that no one else wanted to touch. He lived quietly and without much excitement. Some people said he preferred silence more than company. Others believed he was simply tired of the world. Both ideas held a little truth. On this night, Elias had been sitting near his old heater reading a worn book when he heard the soft knock. At first he thought it was the wind. The storm outside had been growing stronger, and sometimes the loose boards on his porch made strange noises. But the knock came again, slow, careful, almost afraid to disturb the air. Elias stood up and walked toward the door with steady steps. He was not a man who frightened easily. Life had already shown him enough hard moments to teach him that fear often wasted time. He placed his hand on the door and listened. The night outside felt still. Too still. When he opened the door, a thin line of cold air rushed past him. Then he saw her. The tall, glowing figure. Her shape was almost human, but stretched in ways that made his mind question what he knew. Her skin glowed like soft moonlight, and her eyes carried a sadness that felt ancient. She stood completely still, like she was waiting for him to decide her future. Elias did not move at first. He simply looked at her, not with panic, not with anger, just with quiet understanding. He had always believed that real danger rarely knocked so gently. Something about her presence felt heavy with sorrow and tiredness rather than threat. Then he noticed the blanket held close to her chest. It moved with a weak motion. A small breath, a trembling spark of fading light. Elias felt something shift. Inside him, a feeling that had been quiet for years. A sense of responsibility. A call to act. The alien mother watched him with cautious hope. In her eyes, Elias saw a question. Not spoken in words yet clear as any voice. She was asking for trust. She was asking for help. Elias opened the door wider. "Come inside if you need shelter," he said, with a steady voice. The alien mother hesitated. Humans had pushed her away so many times that she feared even small kindness. But the child in her arms gave a weak cry, and she knew she could not stay out in the cold any longer. She stepped into the house, and the faint glow around her lit the walls with a soft blue tone. Elias closed the door behind her, and the house grew quiet, except for the soft breathing of the sick child. Elias knelt down to look at the bundle in her arms. She lifted the blanket just enough for him to see. The child was small and fragile. Its skin flickered with fading light as if life inside it was slipping away. Elias felt the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. This was not a visitor with a simple need. This was a mother fighting to save her child. He looked up at her. "What happened?" he asked. She struggled to speak. Her voice sounded like wind passing through broken stone, yet somehow shaped into words that Elias understood. "We fled," she said. "He is dying. I have searched your world for help. No one would listen." Elias felt a familiar ache in his chest. He remembered the feeling of being ignored, being unseen, being judged without a chance to explain. He looked at the mother again. Her eyes held 2 years of rejection. 2 years of knocking on doors that never opened. "You found the right door tonight," Elias said with quiet certainty. Alien mother lowered her head, not in fear, but in relief. For the first time in years, she felt the weight of her long journey ease. She had found one human who did not run. One human who saw her not as a monster, but as a mother. Elias lifted the child gently into his arms. The light from the child shimmered across his skin. "We will help him," he said. "I do not know how yet, but we will try." The mother watched him. Her eyes softened. She had crossed worlds and walked through fear for this small, Moment of hope. And in that moment, she understood something powerful. Sometimes the smallest home holds the strongest heart. Sometimes one door can change the fate of two species. And sometimes a quiet human named Elias can become the hero no one expects. ****. Elias placed the weak, glowing child on a soft blanket near the heater. The warmth helped a little, and the flicker of light from the small body grew brighter for a moment. The alien mother knelt beside her son and rested a trembling hand on his chest. Her long fingers shook with fear. She had watched this light fade again and again across their long journey. Each day she feared it would be the last time she saw his glow. Elias could see the pain in her face, even though her features were different from his own. A mother's fear did not need to belong to one species. It was universal. It was ancient. It lived in the heart of every being that loved deeply. He sat down across from her. "Tell me what is happening to him," he said gently. The mother closed her eyes as if gathering strength to share a heavy truth. When she spoke, her voice carried a soft echo that made the air feel colder. "My son is fading. His life depends on an energy my people can no longer create. Only your world holds what he needs now." Elias felt his stomach tighten. "What does he need from us?" he asked. She opened her eyes and looked at him with a seriousness that made the room feel smaller. "Your world creates a natural force that heals our children. It comes from your bodies and from the ground you walk on. My people once lived close to this energy, but we lost it to war. The hunters who chased us destroyed every source. My son is one of the last young ones who can be saved. I searched for 2 years for a human who would listen, because only your kind can help him survive." Elias tried to understand, but the idea felt bigger than anything he had ever faced. "You walked across towns for 2 years because you believed humans could save him?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "Yes, our elders discovered the truth long ago. Humanity creates a unique bond with the world. It is not power. It is not magic. It is something else. Something alive, something that heals. We came to ask for help, but your world feared us. Every door closed. Every voice turned against us. But I could not stop. He is my child. I would cross 1,000 worlds if I had to." Elias looked at the child again. The light in the child's skin now faded and returned in soft waves, as if the body fought for every breath. Something inside Elias stirred. A memory, a ghost from his past. He remembered holding his own sister when she was ill as a child. He remembered the helplessness of watching someone small and fragile struggle to stay alive. He had promised long ago that he would never turn away from someone who needed saving. He stood up and began searching through his supplies. "Your child needs warmth and rest and time. I do not know this energy you speak of, but I will do everything I can." The mother watched him with a look that felt like gratitude mixed with fear. She knew the truth. The hunters would not stop searching. She had fled them across stars, across empty deserts, across human cities filled with fear. They would follow her scent until they found her again. And if they found her here, they would destroy anyone who helped her. She touched her son's forehead and whispered something in her own language. A soft melody filled the room like a lullaby from a world Elias would never see. Elias turned his head. "He is brave," he said. She smiled with sadness. "He should not have to be. He is only a child." Elias sat on the floor beside them. The heater made the room warm and safe, but the air felt heavy. Danger had followed this woman for years. And now it had reached his door. He spoke with quiet determination. "You came here for help, and you found me. I will not abandon you. But I need to know everything. If someone is chasing you, I must understand what we face." Her hands tightened around her child. "They hunt us because we carry the truth. They fear what humans can do. They fear the bond our children share with your world. If my son survives, he will become a link between our species. A bridge, and the hunters want to break every bridge before it can form. Elias felt the weight of her words settle deep in his chest. So your secret is not only your child. It is the future of two worlds. She nodded. Yes, and it rests in your hands now. Elias looked at the window. Outside the night was dark and silent. But somewhere beyond that darkness he felt movement. A threat drawing closer. He turned back to the mother and her child with a resolve. Stronger than fear, then we protect him, whatever it takes. Night settled over the small town like a heavy blanket. The wind outside Elias' house carried a strange tension, as if the air itself was holding its breath. Inside the warm room, the alien child slept with weak breaths while the mother watched over him with eyes that never fully blinked. Elias could feel the unease growing around them. Something was coming, something powerful, something that had chased this woman across worlds. Elias walked to the window and pushed the curtain aside. The road outside looked empty. The trees stood still, yet the night felt wrong. Too quiet, too hollow. As if the world outside was waiting for an unwelcome guest. The mother sensed it too. She whispered softly, "They are close. I can feel the mark they left on us. They never stop, they never rest." Elias turned toward her. "Who are they?" he asked. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "They are hunters created to serve those who rule my home world. They are not born from families. They are made for one purpose, to end anything that threatens the power of the rulers. Humans have something my people lost. Something the rulers want destroyed before anyone discovers it. My son carries that truth inside him. That is why the hunters follow us. They will not allow him to survive." Elias felt a cold heaviness in his chest. "You mean they would kill your child, even after everything you escaped?" "They will kill anyone who stands in their way," she answered. "They do not fear humans. They believe your world is weak." Elias stepped closer to her. "They are wrong." Before she could respond, a faint vibration shook the house. Not enough to knock things down, but enough to make the window glass hum. Elias froze. The mother stood up quickly. Her eyes glowed with alarm. "They have crossed into this town," she said. "We must prepare." Elias grabbed a heavy flashlight from a drawer and checked the battery. It was not a weapon, but it was something he could hold. He felt foolish for a moment, but the feeling passed. This was his home. He would defend it. The mother moved to the sleeping child and lifted him gently. The glow around the child dimmed as if sensing the danger. She held him close and stepped beside Elias. Her voice was steady now. "You do not have to fight this battle. You owe us nothing." Elias looked at her with firm eyes. "You knocked on my door. I opened it. That means you are under my roof now. And we protect those who come seeking help." The mother stared at him with surprise. "Humans are strange," she whispered. "And stronger than the hunters believe." The vibration returned. Stronger this time. Something outside moved with slow, measured steps. Elias opened the door just enough to look out. The road that had been empty minutes ago now held 3 tall shapes. Their bodies were armored with dark plates that shimmered like whetstone. Their eyes glowed red in the night. They stood motionless as if studying the house. Elias felt fear rise, but he refused to step back. Instead, he memorized every detail, every movement, every breath. The hunters were alive yet felt colder than machines. The first hunter lifted its head and released a low sound that echoed like a distant storm. The mother behind Elias whispered, "They have found us." Elias closed the door and locked it, though he knew a simple lock could not stop creatures like these. He moved through the room and turned off the lights. Darkness filled the house except for the faint glow from the alien child. The mother covered the glow with her cloak to hide it. Elias whispered, "We need to stay quiet. If they come inside, we will move toward the back." There is a workshop behind the house. We can hide there. The mother nodded. But they will sense the child. They always do. Elias stopped. He looked around his small living room. He felt the weight of 2 lives now depending on him. For the first time he understood the scale of this danger. This was no simple creature. No simple threat. This was a force that had crossed stars to complete its mission. The ground trembled again. Heavy steps approached the house. The hunters were moving closer. Elias felt his heartbeat echo through his chest. He looked at the alien mother. She looked back at him with unwavering trust. He gripped the flashlight tightly. They think humans are weak, he whispered. Tonight we show them they are wrong. A sudden impact struck the side of the house. Wood cracked. Dust shook from the ceiling. The hunters were testing the walls. Testing for fear. Testing for weakness. Elias moved in front of the mother and her child. He planted his feet firmly on the floor. He was only one man, but he stood like a wall. Outside, another heavy step echoed through the night, then another. The hunters surrounded the house. The mother whispered, "This is the moment they always choose to attack." Elias stared at the door with steady eyes. Let them try. And the night held its breath once more. The house shook again as the hunters pressed closer. Elias felt the vibration through the wooden floor. Each heavy step warned that the walls would not hold forever. The alien mother tightened her grip on her child while her eyes followed every movement around them. She had lived through 2 years of terror, yet something inside her believed this moment might be different. She was no longer alone. A human stood with her. Elias knew he needed help. His old tools were not enough to stop creatures that had crossed star systems. He reached for his phone with shaking hands. There's only one person he trusted with the truth. A doctor who had known him since childhood. Someone who cared more about life than fear. He dialed quickly. "Dr. Halle, I need you here right now. It is important." The doctor's voice sounded sleepy at first, then sharp when he heard the tension in Elias' voice. "Elias, what happened? I cannot explain on the phone. Please, someone is hurt. And I cannot do this alone." The doctor did not ask more. He agreed to come at once. Elias hung up and turned back to the alien mother. "Help is coming. Someone who understands healing. We will keep your child alive." The mother stared at him with confusion. "You trust another human during danger?" Elias nodded. "I trust the right people. Humans can be fearful, but they can also be brave. And sometimes they surprise even themselves." A sudden crash outside made the walls tremble. The hunters were moving closer to the windows now. Their glowing red eyes scanned the house for any sign of the child. Elias moved the mother and child into a corner where the shadows were deeper. Minutes passed like hours, until headlights shone through the front window. A small car parked near the house. Dr. Halle stepped out carrying a heavy medical bag. His face looked calm yet alert. He moved with confidence toward the door. One of the hunters turned its head toward him, sensing new movement. Its red eyes locked on the doctor. Elias opened the door just enough for Halle to slip inside. The doctor stepped in and froze when he saw the alien mother and the glowing child. His mind worked quickly. Instead of fear, he felt only concern. "Elias, what is this? What happened to the child?" Elias took a breath. "She is not from here, and her son is dying. They need help. And there are dangerous creatures outside trying to take them." Halle did not waste time questioning the impossible. He knelt beside the child and gently lifted the blanket. The child's skin glowed faintly like a dying ember. Halle touched the child's wrist, then felt for a pulse. The rhythm was weak and fading. "He is very sick," Halle said. "But he is still fighting." The mother watched him with hope. "He needs the energy your world carries. Can you help him?" Halle looked at Elias. "I do not understand this energy. But I know one thing. Life reacts to care, to touch." to intention. Humans carry strength in ways science does not always measure. Elias nodded. That is what she told me too. Halle placed both hands gently on the child's chest. The warmth from his palms spread through the small body. The mother watched with wide eyes. The child's glow brightened slightly. It is working, she whispered. Your people still carry the gift. Halle continued. His face showed deep focus. Whatever this energy is, it responds to us. Humans create something living in our presence. Something that connects, something that supports healing. Elias felt pride rise inside him. We are not weak. Not like the hunters believe. A thunderous impact struck the back of the house. A window cracked. The hunters grew impatient. Their steps grew louder. Their bodies scraped against the walls. They were preparing to force their way inside. Halle looked up. What are those things? Hunters, the mother said. They destroy anything that threatens their rulers. They believe humans must never discover their own strength. They fear what your kind can become. Elias stood tall. Then tonight we give them a reason to fear. The mother placed her hand on her child again. His light grew stronger with Hale's touch. Slowly, carefully, the child opened his eyes for a moment. Two small glowing orbs looked at the doctor. With silent trust. Halle smiled at him gently. You just keep fighting, little one. Halle whispered. We are here now. The mother felt tears she had held for years finally fall. You humans carry more power than my people ever understood. You heal not only with hands but with heart. Another crash. The hunters prepared for their final approach. Elias stepped forward ready to defend the small family behind him. Dr. Halle, he said, stay with them. Protect the child. I will hold them off as long as I can. Halle looked at him with steady eyes. We stand together, Elias, that is what makes us human. Outside the hunters gathered. Their red eyes glowed brighter. Their claws scraped the ground. Inside the small house, two humans stood side by side. Not soldiers. Not warriors. Just ordinary men with extraordinary courage. Mother whispered, this is what the hunters fear. Human unity, human strength. Elias tightened his grip on the flashlight. Then they came to the wrong planet. The final impact shook the house. The battle for the child was about to begin. Asterisk. The walls of the small house groaned under the pressure. As the hunters closed in, Elias felt dust fall from the ceiling while the floor vibrated under each heavy step outside. The hunters were no longer testing. They were preparing to strike. Their mission had followed the alien mother across galaxies, and now it had reached the quiet edge of a human town. In the center of the room, Dr. Halle worked with steady hands. The alien child's glow flickered stronger, but the child was still far from safe. Halle spoke softly to the mother. His life is not slipping away anymore. But we need more time. We must keep them away from him. The mother nodded. She held her son close while her own light dimmed in exhaustion. She had spent years fleeing danger. Now she was trapped again. But this time she was not alone. She looked at Elias and Hal with a mix of fear and hope. Outside, the hunters moved as one. Their glowing red eyes scanned the house from every angle. They had no emotion, no hesitation, only purpose. Elias felt their cold focus like claws against his mind. He stood at the front door, gripping his old flashlight. It looked small in his hand, but his resolve felt far larger. Another impact hit the wall and cracked the wooden boards. Elias stepped back and took a breath. They will break through soon. We need a plan. Halle glanced at the back hallway. If we move through the workshop, we might get out before they enter. But we have to move fast. The mother shook her head. They track scent. They will follow wherever we go. We cannot escape them. We must hold them here. Elias understood what she meant. Running would only delay the fight. The hunters would catch them again. If they were going to survive, they needed to stand their ground. He looked at Halle. You keep the child safe. Stay behind us. I will face them first. Halle opened his mouth to argue, but Elias raised a hand. You heal. That is what you do. Let me be the shield. The doctor hesitated, then nodded. Elias walked toward the door again. His legs felt heavy, but his heart beat with steady courage. He had lived a quiet life until now. He had never imagined he would defend an alien child against creatures from another world. Yet the idea did not scare him. It felt right. It felt human. A loud crack tore through the air as one of the hunters smashed its claw into the door. Wood splintered. Elias braced himself. The hunters would enter any moment. The mother placed her son in Hale's arms and stood beside Elias. Her glowing eyes hardened with determination. My people once believed humans were fragile, but I have seen truth in you. Courage lives in your hearts. Tonight we stand together. Elias gave her a brief nod. Then let us show them who we are. The door burst inward. A hunter stepped through. Its towering form almost reached the ceiling. Black armor covered its body. Red eyes glowed with cold intent. The creature released a deep growl that shook the walls. Elias stepped forward before it could advance. You want the child? You will have to go through us first. The hunter lunged. Elias moved to the side and struck the creature's head with the flashlight. The metal bent in his hands, yet the blow made the hunter stumble. Elias felt a spark of hope. He could hurt it. The mother extended her hands. A dim blue light formed around her palms. Her strength was weak, but her will was fierce. She sent a wave of energy at the hunter. It staggered again and let out a roar. Another hunter entered through the broken window, then a third. The room filled with chaos. Elias stood before them with nothing but courage, and the mother stood beside him. With the last of her strength, the hunters advanced again. Elias blocked one attack with his arm, and pain shot through him, but he did not fall. Instead, he pushed back with raw determination. Humans were not meant to fight creatures like these. Yet here he was standing through sheer will. The mother released another blast of blue light, but her body flickered from exhaustion. She fell to her knees. Elias grabbed her arm to steady her. We stand together, he whispered. Behind them, Halle shielded the child with his entire body. The child's glow pulsed, stronger as if reacting to the courage around him. The hunters turned their attention toward the back of the room, sensing the rising energy. Elias stepped in front of them again. You will not touch him. The hunters paused. Something in the room had changed. The air felt charged, alive, human. Presence mixed with alien energy. A bond formed that the hunters feared. The child's glow expanded and filled the room with soft warmth. The mother gasped. Halle looked down at the child with awe. He is waking, Halle said. He is responding to us. The hunters hesitated. Their steps slowed. The mother whispered, He's drawing strength from you, from your unity. This is what they fear. Elias stood tall, though his body ached. Then they should fear us more. The child's glow burst outward in a wave of light that filled the house. The hunters recoiled. Their red eyes dimmed in confusion. For the first time in their existence, the hunters encountered something they could not understand. Human courage, human unity, human strength. Asterisk. The wave of light from the alien child spread through the small house. Like a rising sunrise, soft, warm, alive, it wrapped around Elias, around Dr. Halle, around the alien mother who watched with tears shining in her glowing eyes. The hunters stepped back as if touched by something unknown and unwelcome. Their bodies trembled under the pressure of the strange energy. They had chased the mother across half the galaxy, yet they had never felt anything like this. Elias stood in front of the child and faced the hunters. His legs shook from exhaustion, but he refused to fall. Something had changed inside him. He felt connected not only to the child, but to the mother and to Holly. It was as if a single heartbeat now echoed between all of them. A shared will to protect. Life. The child opened his eyes fully. Bright blue light filled the room. The glow carried a gentle strength that grew stronger with each breath he took. The mother stepped forward with trembling hands. She had waited 2 years for this moment. 2 years of fear. 2 years of knocking on doors that never opened. Now she watched her son rise from the edge of death. Because humans had chosen compassion over fear, Dr. Holly knelt beside the child, unable to look away from the miracle unfolding before him. He is stabilizing. His body is healing itself. Whatever this bond is, we are feeding it. Humans are giving him what he needs. The mother touched her son's cheek. It is your presence. Your will to protect. It is stronger than anything the hunters ever understood. Elias looked at the hunters again. Their red eyes now dimmed and flickered in uncertainty. They took slow steps back. Not from weakness, but from confusion. For the first time their mission felt threatened in a way they had never trained for. They were created to destroy life. Not face unity. Not face hope. One hunter stepped forward again. Its claws raised, but the child lifted a small hand. Light gathered around his fingers. Not violent, not cruel. Simply firm. A silent message spread through the room. Enough. The hunter froze as the light reached it. The glow pressed against its armor like gentle pressure that refused to be pushed aside. The creature growled, but its body sank toward the floor, as if gravity itself had changed. The other 2 hunters reacted in the same way. They backed away from the child. Their claws scratched the wood in frustration. Their purpose was fading. The mother watched them with a calm strength she had not felt in years. They cannot hurt him now. The bond has formed. You humans have become part of his life force. The hunters cannot break that connection. Elias moved to the child and placed a hand on his shoulder. You are safe now. We will protect you. The hunters hissed. With anger and fear, they turned toward the window. For a moment they seemed ready to strike again. Then the child's glow expanded once more and filled the night outside the door. The hunters retreated slowly. Their red eyes turned away. They stepped into the darkness and disappeared into the trees. Holly let out a long breath. Are they gone? For now, the mother replied. They will not return soon. They fear what they witnessed. Elias looked at her. What did they witness? What changed tonight? The mother lifted her glowing child into her arms. He rested against her with renewed strength. They saw the truth that our rulers never wished to face. Humans have a power. Beyond weapons or technology, you connect, you unite. You protect strangers without reason. You stand even when you are afraid. This is the force the hunters fear. A force that can heal. A force that can change worlds. Elias felt the weight of her words settle deep within him. He had always believed he was just an ordinary man. Yet tonight he had stood against beings built for destruction. He had protected someone from another world, simply because it was right. The mother stepped closer and bowed her head slightly. Your kind saved my child when my own people failed. You opened your door when every world closed theirs. We will remember this. I will tell my people about humanity. Not as a threat, not as a fear, but as hope. Elias felt a warmth flood his chest. You do not owe us anything. We only did what anyone should do. The mother shook her head softly. Many worlds believe help is weakness. Humans prove that help is strength. Dr. Holly looked at the child who now glowed with steady light. What happens next? Will you stay? Will you return home? She looked toward the night sky through the broken window. We cannot stay. The hunters may return with greater force. My son needs a safe place. We must leave soon. But we will not forget you. Elias felt a sting in his heart, yet he understood. Then let this be a beginning. Not an end. The mother smiled. It will be. You have opened a door tonight, not only for us, but for your world. A door between species. A door of trust. As dawn approached, a soft hum filled the air. A small transport craft shimmered into view behind the trees. The mother held her child close and turned one last time to Elias and Hull. You gave us life, and one day we will give something back. Elias watched them enter the craft. The blue glow from the child lit the cabin like a morning star. The ship rose slowly, then disappeared into the brightening sky. Elias stood in the quiet morning air. The door of his house remained open behind him. The same door that had changed everything. He whispered to himself, sometimes all it takes is opening the door. And somewhere far above Earth, another world carried the memory of human courage.